Good morning, CHS. This is a new arrival video. Today is February 20th, and we still are receiving some new books, and I wanted to go over some of the selections with you, and I hope that you'll come down and check some of them out. Here we have Stealing Snow, and this is a reimagining of the Snow Queen. So this is a fantasy or a book for our fantasy collection by Danielle Page. And so this one looked really interesting. Fantasy, of course, as some of you know, is not my genre, but this is one that I think I could get into. Here we have a biography / memoir. It's called Every Falling Star. And this is the true story of how I survived in North Korea. So this is about a 12-year-old boy who is forced to live in the streets at age 12 in North Korea. And he's separated from his family. And it's definitely a survival story. And so that's a good one. It's actually shelved in our biography collection. Then we have Still Life with Tornado by A.S. King. And this A.S. King is the same author. If you read this, he had a former award book called Everybody Sees the Ants. I really liked that one. It was different. And this one is a portrait of abuse and survival, with the protagonist is a teenager. So here we have The Sun is Also a Star, and this is by Nicole Yoon. And I'm actually reading her book right now, which is called Everything. I don't know if I featured this on a video before, but I really like it. It's about the girl with the bubble, lives in a bubble. She's allergic to everything. So this one is told in alternating points of view, if you like that, just like the book I'm reading now by Nicole Yoon. And this is about undocumented immigrants. So we have a lot in the news lately with legal immigration, illegal immigration, and everything's so political. So if you want a firsthand view of that, then this one, The Sun is Also a Star, would be a good choice. Here we have Girl Man's Up. And this is one of two books that we're adding to the collection that have to do with identity and gender role fiction. So this is about a girl who is having some gender identity issues, and she wants to try to please everyone, but at the end she has to be what she wants to be. So if you're into that topic, then this one would be good. And then we have another one in the collection to add to that, and this is called If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Rousseau. And this is a transgender issue. A girl goes to a new school. She has these secrets. So it's examining that as a social issue, and also deals with bullying and things like that. Here we have The Swan Riders. This is a sequel to The Scorpion Rules. So this is a fantasy for our fantasy collection. So if you like that novel, you'll have to come in and check out the sequel. And this one is called Tell Me Something Real. And this is about 3 teenage sisters, and they're dealing with a lot. Their mother has leukemia and is taking treatments in Mexico because it's not legal here in the United States. And there's a big betrayal that threatens kind of everything that's going on in the family. So lots of secrets. This one is called Saving Red by Sonia Sones, and I've read her books before. I didn't look up any of the formal titles, but I recognize her name. And this is homeless fiction, and it's about a girl who meets someone on the streets, and this is written in verse, so we'll add that to our collection if you like books written in verse. So it's a thick book, but they read pretty quickly. And so this examines homelessness and a girl who is trying to help this homeless girl she meets. Here we have The Midnight Star. This is a sequel to, this is Marie Lu, and this is a Young Elites novel. So if you follow that series, this is an addition to that. Here we have the memory book, and this one sounded really interesting, by Lara Avery. And this is a disorder about, or this girl has a disorder where she loses her memory. And it kind of made me think of the movie 50 First Dates. I don't know if you've seen that. So she has that problem and keeps a journal of her memory so she can try to remember things about herself from day to day. Here we have Holding Up the Universe, and this is about, examines a lot of issues. And one that I picked up was obesity. A girl that was the largest girl in her class at school, and she makes some changes and decides to go back and reclaim her life. And then there's a boy also in the novel as a protagonist, and he has a disorder where you can't recognize people's faces, which I thought was really interesting. And of course, they learn about themselves. There's a romance that ensues. Here we have Rainey Patel in full effect. At first glance, I know you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but I would never pick this book up. I just, the cover's not appealing to me. But it sounds like a fabulous book. So I challenge someone to check this out, even though the cover's kind of different. And this book is a girl, and within her family, it deals with self-esteem, child sexual abuse. And from what I can read about it, it looks as though there's an older man that's grooming this girl. And so it has a lot of issues that it examines. Here we have the book Watched. Someone is always watching. And this is social issues, and this is more on immigration. And the main character is a Bangladeshi American girl. And so there are immigrants, and there are some people that were born here within the family. So there's a lot of things that we can learn with what's going on in politics from that, or some different viewpoints. This one is called Unbecoming, and this is about 17-year-old Katie. Her father's left the family a year ago. Her brother has special needs. She's caring for her grandmother who has Alzheimer's, and she has a secret that she can't reveal. So there's a lot going on in this novel for one 17-year-old girl. So that's a fiction, realistic fiction. Then we have a book to add to our history collection in the 900s, and this is called The Japanese American Experience During World War II. It's called Uprooted. So here we have more about the Japanese internment. So if you want a historical viewpoint of that, and maybe compare it politically to everything that we've been talking about in the news lately, that might be good. And then I have several nonfiction books to add to our collection that some of you might be able to use with research. We have I'm a Digital Addict. Now what? Who thinks they may be a digital addict? Here we have The People Behind School Shootings and Public Massacres. So this kind of goes into and analyzes or examines the kind of people who are involved in those kinds of crimes. The World's Weirdest News Stories, and that would be just fun, I guess, and interesting if you like those kinds of stories. Here's one about flooding and caskets floating around, just kind of strange stuff. Here we have the world's worst acts of brutality. So that's another just interesting addition. And then we have Pop Culture, American Life and Video Games from Pong to Minecraft. And then American Life and Celebrity Icons from Marilyn Monroe to Taylor Swift. And last, How Are Mobile Devices Changing Society? I can see big changes just in the last 5 years. So those are some research books. And then there are several books down here below that I haven't even featured on the video. So I hope you'll come down and check out some of these books, and you guys have a happy February.